Sri Sanatana Goswami wrote Haribhakti Vilas, which is clearly explaining about different angas of bhakti actually. Haribhakti Vilasa. Vilasa means, you have to understand it there, Haribhakti Vilasas. Vilasas means various items actually. Various opulences are items of bhakti. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we are seeing only 64 items. But if you see in Haribhakti Vilas, thousands of items are there, which can be done a pure devotee. A devotee can practice these to make his 24 hours direct devotional services. Okay, so that's why all this is a bhakti book, and also Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, both of them wrote. And but Jiva Goswami, what he did, after establishing Srimad Bhagavatam as highest pramana, that means this is the source of the right knowledge, highest authority. In this whole creation, who is having the highest authority in speaking about the absolute truth? That is nothing but Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's why after establishing Srimad Bhagavatam as highest pramana, highest scripture, then after that, so based upon Srimad Bhagavatam, he established what is Abhideya and Prayojan. And he first defined using Srimad Bhagavatam, that means based upon Bhagavatam. He never goes out from the Bhagavatam. Based upon Bhagavatam, he spoke about absolute truth, which is nothing but so Krishna himself, the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Lord Krishna. And about him, in first four sandarbhas was discussed. And after that, that discussion itself is sufficient, because in these four books, first four books of Sandarbhas, Tattva Sandarbha, Bhagavad Sandarbha, Paramatma Sandarbha, and Krishna Sandarbha, he defined Krishna, who can be perceived, who can be worshipped in the form of Brahman and Paramatma also. And he was very well defined there. That itself is very attractive for us. Like example, so if you are set in your home, there is a lot of treasure inside the earth in your home. Then that itself is sufficient to you to go and dig it and get it. So here also Krishna is so blissful and transcendental. His energies are unlimited, and he is the supreme controller, and he is the knower of everything. Like this, all the features of Krishna are explained. After understanding this, what you will do? You will do automatically, you will be inspired to dedicate yourself for him, to get him, to get the water, the bliss. So Lord extremely giving to his devotees, which are defined in these four books, you will also try to get it. So that means just speaking about Krishna is sufficient to what we should do, and also to what we will get. But for we are dull-minded people actually. We are very dull-minded people. And because of our dullness, specifically, once again, so our problem is explained, and also what we should get, what we should do actually first. By doing that, what he is going to get, these two things are also defined. That's why Abhideya and Prayojana are coming into the picture. Otherwise, Sambandhi Tattvam is enough to, it is automatically is inspiring you to get Krishna and love Krishna. And just try to please him. This is automatically said just by explaining Sambandha Tattva or Sambandhi Tattva. Sambandhi is Krishna here. But still, for our dull-mindedness, so Shastra is specifically saying, Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishwaro Swakavyah Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Bhayam. So Shastra is saying, you all the time you should do chanting of the Krishna's names, hearing of Krishna's names, and remembering the Krishna's names. So like that, it is clearly saying to us. But actually, that is not needed. Like in your home, if someone said that there is a lot of treasure is there in the inside of your ground in the home, is there any need to you to say that you should go and you should dig it? Now you are a poor man and you have to get the treasure. Is it needed that other statements, you are a poor man and you should dig it and get it? This instruction is needed. This generally is not needed. But when it will be needed? When we are poor and dull-headed people. For those people it will be needed. Oh, you are a poor man. Similarly, we all know that we are all suffering in this material world. And Krishna is so blissful. We are hearing in the first four sandarbhas, Krishna is so blissful in his abode. And his servants all are also transcendently blissful there. This sentence is not sufficient. For the sober people, this one sentence is sufficient actually. Immediately they will be taking up the process of loving Krishna and serving him all the time. But we are not sober. We are very dull-headed. And we are very having the confusion. We have so much misunderstanding. So all the nonsense is there in the heart of this conditioned jivas. So that's why there is a need of specifically saying that you are in the problem and you have to come out from that problem by worshipping Krishna. Like that Shastra is saying. Shastra is saying all the minute things. So that's why Bhayam Vidya Biniveshitasya Ishadapetasya Viparyayo Smriti Tanmayayato Buddha Avajetam Makye Kaesham Guru Devatatma. Don't you know we are all in suffering? Don't you know that Krishna is always blissful and his servants who are in his abode, they are all blissful? After knowing this, why we are waiting to serve him 24 hours and try to please him, try to get his favor? That is our dullness. Tat saikilya nirasaya punastadupadeshaha tadevam tam pratyanadi siddha tadgnana sansarga bhavamaya tadvaimukyam dukkha hetum vadan. Basically, because of our dullness, Shastra is telling our problem also. In that example, that person doesn't know that he is a poor. He knows. And what he should do? After knowing the statement, in his house there is a lot of treasure is inside the ground, immediately dig it. But we are not. So, we are not. Your treasure is Krishna Prem, which is always giving this bliss. And what we should do? So, serving him. How much time will be serving him? All the time. All the time will be serving him. That should be the natural, very natural actually. That's why that should be the very natural, spontaneous approach. But that is not there, means how much we are fallen actually. So for us, that's the Shastra is helping us. Lord is so merciful and he is giving his mercy in the form of Shastra. And then that's the Vedas. He is exhaling all the Vedas. Among those Vedas, the highest Veda is what? Srimad Bhagavatam. Satvati Sritihi. So this is the highest Veda is Srimad Bhagavatam. And that is saying to you, Vayam Ditiya Viniveshtasya Ishadapetasya Viparyayo Smritihi. Understand this? This Shastra, what it is telling? First of all, it is explaining about your problem. In the first line, our problem is being explained. And in the second line, what we should do is also being said. Go from here. Ishadapetasya. Ishadapetasya means what it means. The meaning is given before actually. Just अनादि परतत्व ज्ञान संसर्गाभावमय तदु वैमुख्य लब्ध छिद्रया तन्माययावृत स्वस्वरूप ज्ञानानाम. There is a lacking. That means labdha chidraya. Some lacking is there. With what? With the Jivatma. So only the one lacking is what? Anadi Paratattva Jnana Sansarga Bhavamaya Tadu Vaimukyaha. It means it is having the lacking of what? Absence of knowledge about absolute truth. That means this knowledge is absent with this Jivatma. But Jivatma is pure. Jivatma is transcendental. Jivatma is completely chit. But what is the problem? It is not having the knowledge about the absolute truth. From beginningless. There is no beginning. There is no beginning of this state. Then all questions are over. When it is said that there is no beginning of this state. If you say there is a beginning, then you should find the cause. If there is no beginning, then there is no need to find any reason behind this for the absence of the knowledge about absolute. That is the meaning of Ishadapetasya. Then what will happen? Asmritihi. That means then that same absolute truths, what is there? Potency Maya is there. Absolute truth is possessing of what? A component Maya. What it will do? So it is going to Swarupa Tanmaya Avrita. Tanmaya means absolute truth Maya. Avrita Swaswarupa Gnanana. So then what is happening? This Jivatma is Avrita, means covered. Is covered by what? Is covered by this Maya's potency, is known as what? Avidya. With the potency of the Avidya, Maya is covering Jivatma, so which is not having knowledge about absolute truth. but which is always pure. So then, then what is happening? After that, that means when it is covered by the avidya, Jivatma is covered by the avidya, even though it is having the ability to know himself as soul, but now being covered by the avidya, it is not able to know himself. Even the example I am giving, even though eyes are having the ability to see the object, to see objects, but when they are covered with the darkness, they are not able to see objects. It doesn't mean the eyes are defective. No. That is the situation. That is the potency. That much potential is there in the eyes. So when they are covered with the darkness, they can't see. Similarly, this Jivatma is Chit-Shakti is having limited potency. If it is covered by the avidya, then it cannot know himself. Who am I? Even though it is having the ability to know himself, I am soul. So that's why what is happening. So it is forgetting himself. That means asmriti is happening. Asmriti means forgetting himself. Forgetting himself means I am soul. That kind of understanding, that kind of knowledge is not prevailing there. No. Means he is not able to know. He is not able to know. Then on top of this Maya is giving what? Maya is having another component known as Prakriti. So by using another potency Prakriti, Maya is going to cover. Maya is going to cover this Jivatma with different layers. So what are those? False ego, Chittam, intelligence, mind, senses, gross body, and various sense objects. In this material, to attract these senses of the Jivatma, various sense objects are created. All these sense objects are created. Now, let us understand in brief. So, this sloka. And this Jivatma, one more thing, this Jivatma is having the karma from beginningless. Like Jivatma is not having the knowledge about the Lord from beginningless. Because of that Jivatma is covered by Maya, beginningless. And also Jivatma is having the karma from the beginningless. Whenever beginningless is said, there is no need to find reason. There is no need to break our head there. This is a simple understanding. Every polemical, so that means whoever studies this polemics, they can easily accept this. You cannot search out reason for everything using your material mind, material logic. So that's the Shastra make you to stop at extent where your present conditioned material mind so cannot go, so that things are all so just will be, that means said as anadi, that's all. That's why you don't need to use our conditioned mind now to understand what is the so reasons are this and that. Beginningless means don't use your mind or intelligence to know the or so to ask the reasons. Beginningless means beginningless. There is no beginning. Like a simple example I give in the mathematics or in the curves actually, if you take a curve actually, a bell-shaped curve, this curve is, if it is axis of t, when it is starting actually, this curve is not going to touch the axis t from minus infinity to plus infinity. Also it is not going to touch the axis t. Even the mathematics also, we say, if you ask when this curve started, so then you will be saying that it is from minus infinity it is starting. There is no beginning. And also when it is going to end, At plus infinity it is going to end. So that means in the mathematics also we accept. We are not going to see the beginning of this curve or the ending of this curve. It's impossible. Similarly, these phenomena are also like that, spiritual phenomena. Okay? So anyway, because of this Jivatma which is covered by the avidya, because of false ego, now what is happening? It is getting the wrong identification. Even it is himself, it can identify himself as soul because avidya is not able to identify himself as soul. Now on the top of this, because of this false ego, this Jivatma is identifying falsely himself. It is identifying himself as body. It is identifying himself as senses. It is identifying himself as mind. It is identifying himself as sometimes intelligence. It is identifying himself as sometimes chitta. That's why we say I am fat. But actually body is fat. But since of this false ego, Jivatma thinking that the fatness of body has his own quality. So that's why Viparyayo Smriti. I am not going in details. In details are explained in the other books, actually, in other courses, you can see. Viparyayo Smriti, that means because of false ego, because Maya through the Prakriti, it is giving the false ego, chitta, intelligence, mind, senses, and gross body. And now, because of one item false ego, now it is thinking himself as falsely, viparya, that means wrong knowledge, himself as body. That means this is the meaning of identifying himself as body. So then what is happening? When it started identifying himself as body, what happens? Whatever the qualities of the body, like example, if you eat laddus, you'll be getting the pleasure. Pleasure will be where? In the mind. If you eat this something, if you get a stroke, that means something hurt you, then you'll be getting the pain. Pain also coming to whom? Mind. So pleasure, pain, desire, that means material desires, all these are all functions of mind. When this Jivatma is the soul, when soul which is covered by the avidya, when identify himself as mind, he thinks that I am happy and I am sorrow now. That means whatever the dualities produced in the body are identified as his own. So that is known as Dvitiya Abhinivesha, entering into the dualities. Since Jivatma now started identifying himself as body, that means subtle and sometimes gross body. So whatever the qualities of that subtle and gross bodies are claimed as his own, and because of that, what it is getting? It is getting the fear. Since entering into the dualities, it is getting finally what? Fear. But actually, it should not. That is not the original state of Jiva. This is the problem. That means Shastra is clearly explaining to us what is our problem. For a sober man, doesn't need all these things. Whenever he hears the glories of bhakti, immediately glories of Lord and situation and position of the Lord, immediately he will go and serve. But still what? Shastra is helping us, helping the dull-minded people. It is explaining the problem and also it is explaining about the solution. And explaining the solution. This is the solution. What is the solution? Tanmayayato buddha abhajetam bhakye kaesham gurudevatatma. Gurudevatatma. Buddha. That's why intelligent people, what they should do? Intelligent people, they should consider Guru as Lord. They should worship Guru as Lord. कोई छोटा Guru as Lord, they should consider Guru as Lord, and what they should do? The main problem is what? Not having the knowledge about the Paratattva, absolute truth. Jivatma is not having the knowledge about the absolute. So that's why it should get that. It should gain the knowledge about the absolute truth. So that what is going to happen? This Maya is not going to cover him. Maya is not going to catch that Jiva. So that's why Abhaje tam tan Maya Abhaje tam. This Maya already explained. This Maya belongs to the absolute truth. That is nothing but absolute truth. Who is absolute truth? Absolute truth is Krishna. So that's why this Maya belongs to him. If Jivatma gets knowledge about the absolute truth, that is about Krishna, then automatically Maya will leave. So how to get knowledge about the absolute truth? Krishna, he has to worship him. Then he will come to know who is Krishna. So that's why Shastra is giving the solution. What it is telling? You worship him. Abhaje, it means you should. It is telling, Shastra is telling, you should worship Krishna. You should worship Krishna. So this Maya belongs to him only. If you are intelligent. And what we should do? We should treat our Guru as Lord. And you should worship him with devotion. Bhaktya, with love. Then problem will be solved. This was the why I am saying this. So Shastra is telling the problem and also solution for our purpose actually. Now we all understood the main problem of Jivatma is not having the knowledge about absolute truth. This absolute truth, now we'll go to the one step ahead. This absolute truth, which is also known as Paratattvam.
शाप मिलेगा तुमको मेरे से, है ना? कभी जिंदगी में खुश नहीं रहोगे, मैं आ जाऊँ, समझ में आ रहा है? हाँ, मेरी बददुआ लगेगी तुमको हमेशा, है ना?
Now,
पत्नी मानती हो करती नहीं है.
This Paratattvam can be realized in two ways.
शर्म नहीं आती है क्या?
In the form of
शर्म नहीं आती है तुमको?
Brahman,
क्यों फिर उकसाती हो?
that means without attributes,
करना नहीं है ना?
Savisesha.
तुमको आना भी नहीं है, कैमरे के सामने भी नहीं करना है. यही बात है ये की. क्यों टाइम पास
it will be realized Nirvishesha
मेरा भी नरक जाओगे ऐसे तो,
and
नरक ही जाओगे तुम.
Savisesha.
मेरे साथ भी नहीं करना है.
Absolute truth, which is nothing but Krishna, can be realized without attributes, with attributes. It is natural in our life also. In our life also, we perceive object with attributes and without attributes. Only two possible ways. With attributes and without attributes. So, that's why there are only two types of, and in that with attributes you may have hundreds of varieties of the realizing the with attributes. That is another matter. But in basically you can realize an object, you can perceive with your senses. In the conditioned state, you perceive the material objects with your senses in two ways. In your liberated situation, with your transcendental senses, you can realize objects in two ways. there also. With attributes, without attributes. So in our day-to-day life also happens this. Material objects, when this conditioned Jivatma, whenever it sees material object, initially what happens? Initially, whenever our senses are coming in contact with the object, example I am saying, senses I am taking. Senses in that senses also eyes I am taking. Whenever the eyes are seeing, are contacting in contact of this object, so first and foremost what? In that first fraction of second, in the initial moment, eyes are not capturing the features of that object. Only just something is there. At the time, there is no chance of perceiving the qualities or the attributes of that object, or the form, shape, color, nothing. Nothing is captured. Just something is there. So such a realization happens actually. Prabhuji, but you may say I am not getting that because you have no that much of precision to understand in your observation. There is no that much precision is not there in our observation. Okay, that's why you are not able to know that, but actually that is the way it happens as per all the shastras. So that's why that is known as Nirvikalpa Jnanam. When our eyes are coming in contact with the object pen, if you take here it's a pen, when this pen is seen by the eyes, so initially what you are getting Nirvikalpa. That means perceiving the object without attributes. Similarly here, Paratatvam also perceived by some upasakas without attributes, that is known as Nirvishesha realization of absolute truth. And some upasakas, some worshippers, they worship absolute truth and they perceive absolute truth with attributes, that is known as Savishesha realization. So that's the only two. It's a very simple and very logical science. Logical explanation actually. In the Shastra we see very clear. So that's why, that means one can realize, that means this conditioned Jivatma can realize absolute truth either with attributes or without attributes. This is possible. Let's come to one. Learn very clearly and neatly, so that no doubt should be. Need